So you want to be an entrepreneur. In a YouTube video I watched this morning, Will Smith stated the following, that if you want to win the war on the world, first off, you've got to win the war on your mind. Now, it doesn't matter how you apply that statement, but it's very true, and it's also very true when you consider that of someone wanting to be an entrepreneur. Because if you, for example, go into being an entrepreneur with a negative eye, seeing what's wrong with the world rather than what's right, looking to debunk theories, looking for issues rather than solutions, then you're not going to be an entrepreneur. You need to see the world with a positive eye. You need to think that something can work. You need to believe not only in yourself, but in your ideas. You need to have the drive. Now, where does that drive come from? Drive is a funny term, isn't it? But rather apt when you consider it being related to being an entrepreneur. Because unless you drive, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to have that right mindset. Now, the drive, I'll have to say, comes from a desire, from a passion. Now, I don't mind telling you that these videos are partly for me as well as they might be for you. Some mornings they help give me the drive. They help determine my passion, my desire to want to step up my life. So there are some mornings when I wake up and I'm feeling a bit sluggish. I'm a bit slow. I could, if I wanted to, easily slip into seeing the world with a negative eye. But because of the disciplines that I've created, because of the routine that I've created, I know that if I go through that routine in the morning, I know that I'll come out of it with a positive perspective on life. A friend of mine, a very good friend actually, tried, I suppose, to look at what was wrong with one of the methods that I use that make me happy, that put me in the right place, that have prevented illness, etc., etc. And actually I could understand where he was coming from, because like many new ideas out there, they can be a little bit way out there. So it seems, I think he may have done a bit of research, and he looked at where the idea came from, and that was his first statement, that this person had created this new method but had based it on another idea. And I think he was kind of saying, well, that's a reason not to be interested in it. Well, in a way, that is a perfect example of seeing the world through a negative eye. You're looking at a way of debunking the story, looking at what could be wrong with that story rather than what could be right. And one of the posts I did yesterday actually was all about, unfortunately, we have a predisposition to seeing the world with a negative eye, because this all derives from our early man period. In our hunter-gatherer days, it made sense to be able to have that mindset of waking up in the morning, okay, what could kill me today? I better watch out for it. I better prepare for it. I better mitigate the risk of not being killed by a saber-toothed tiger. That was really helpful then. It isn't now. So what you have to do is change your method of thinking, change the way you look at the world. And it doesn't come naturally, which is why I understood why my friend made that statement. Because his mind, like most thing, he was looking for a reason why that thing wouldn't work. Going back to being an entrepreneur, I would say, first off, make sure your mind is in the right place. If it is good, that's number one ticked. Second of all, figure out where your drive is coming from. If your drive is coming from purely making money, you can't tick that box. Your drive has to come from a passion. It has to come from the energy created from a love of something, the energy created from and interest and enthusiasm and excitement, that energy that will get you up in the morning and make you do the things that most other people won't do or don't do, in order to make your business work, in order to be an entrepreneur. It's funny, isn't it? You look at, you read stories about all the great entrepreneurs out there. There are so many dyslexics. There are so many folk whom have had to fight certain barriers or overcome hurdles, barriers, in order to get where they are today. So in other words, they didn't follow the traditional route that's laid out for you by your school, by your university, that says you need to learn. You need to get qualifications. You need to climb the ladder slowly. Then you can make it. They didn't do any of that because actually they had far too many barriers that prevented them from successfully going and following that route. What they did was they created their own route, and they did that by having a drive and a passion.